Hello everyone, welcome to Azmal IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss the most important current affairs regarding polity and governance of the last week. Let's deep dive into the topic. Our first topic is regarding women reservation in Lok Sabha as well as in the state legislative assemblies. Hope you have remembered the Nari Shakti Vandana Adhiniyam. In the Nari Shakti Vandana Adhiniyam, the act says that 1/3 of the reservation for women will be available in the Lok Sabha as well as the state legislative assemblies. But the clause was that it is to be implemented after the next delimitation. Now, because of the present scenario, because the census did not took place, the last census was taken place in 2011 and the next census is going to be take place in 2027 and it start in 2026 April actually. And after that census, the delimitation will be there. The delimitation award will be given, then the Lok Sabha will be formed, and this will be a long process. Now the government did not want to wait for that process, because by following this process you cannot implement this 1/3 reservation in 2029 वाला लोक सभा इलेक्शन. ठीक है, जो नया लोक सभा गठित होगा 2029 में, उसमें ये इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं हो सकता है because of the technical issues and because of the delay in everything. So that's why government wants to jump. Governments do not want to wait for the award of the delimitation commission and the results of the new census. The government want to implement the 1/3 reservation on the basis of 2011 data. Now, what government is suggesting? The government is saying that we are going to increase the number of seats of the Lok Sabha from present 543 to 816. 543 to 816. For example, every state will have an increase in the representation in the Lok Sabha. For example, regarding UP, the present seat is 80. It will be increased to 120. This additional 40 seats will be available for the women, which is 1/3 of 120. Similarly, in Assam, the seats will be increased from 14 to 21. This additional 7 seats will be given to the women. In this way, the 1/3 representation of women will be available in a Lok Sabha. But for that also, you need constitutional amendment, because under Article 81 of the Indian Constitution, it talks about the strength of the Lok Sabha. Now, to increase the number of seats in the Lok Sabha, you need to amend Article 81, and for that you need constitutional amendment under Article 368. And hope you have remember, under Article 368, if you need to amend the constitution, you need a special majority. And in this scenario, actually, when the seats of the Lok Sabha will increase, it will impact the state's representation, means it will impact the federal character of Indian polity. And whenever there is a federal question, you require what? Special majority in the both houses plus half of the state's ratification. So that is not going to be easy. To implement the 1/3 reservation for women in the Lok Sabha, it's not going to be easy. Because if you need to amend Article 81, you need special majority. And for example, if you need to wait for the next delimitation, then what happens? Suppose we do not bypass this thing, and if we want to wait for the delimitation, then what will happen? See, with the new delimitation commission, the delimitation will look after the population growth, because the number of seats has been frozen for last 50 years. It is based on 1973. Now, the present day Lok Sabha seats are based on the 1971 census and the delimitation commission that took place in 1973. Now, in the last 50 years, the population has exponentially risen, and the states which have more population will get more benefit. And on this point, the states of the southern states, they are complaining कि हम लोगों ने contribute भी किया GDP में, we have done the family planning also, and we have controlled the population. That's why we are getting punished. That should not be there, because the southern states saying that कि our population is 18%, but we are contributing around 35% of our GDP. Indian GDP के 35% is been contributed by the southern states, though their population is only 18%. On the basis of that, the political representation of the southern states will be reduced, and at the same time the population growth in UP, Bihar like states have increased, and because of that thing, the political representation is going to be increased if the new delimitation commission has formed and the new seats were allocated on the basis of the population. क्योंकि देखिए under Article 82 of the Indian Constitution, it is said that after every 10 years you need to held census, and on the basis of the census there should be a delimitation commission. The delimitation commission should readjust and rearrange the electoral constituencies so that equal representation of population can be there. Now the states which have higher population growth will get political benefits. The states which have lower population growth will not have that kind of benefits. That is the tussle actually. And also the women representation, the reservation for women, it's not seem to be very easy, because in either way, if you bypass this delimitation, if you are holding you are considering the data of 2011 census, then also you require a lot of amendments. It is not going to be easy. Okay, so that's the topic actually. That's the topic regarding this 816.6 solution wala jo hai. We have also covered this topic actually in I think 2 or 3 videos before that. We are going to discuss this topic because this topic is going to be in news for long time. ठीक है, जो लोग 2027 में मेंस देने वाले हैं, for them it is a very important topic and it is a upcoming topic. It is going to be developed day by day. क्या क्या solutions निकाल के आ सकता है, what are the legal issues, what are the major updates, what are the government can do. तो बहुत कुछ चीजें इसमें होने वाला है, तो keep in touch regarding this topic. Let's move ahead with the second topic, that is the census. मैंने आप लोगों को बताई है कि the last census has taken place in 2011 only, and after that no census has been taken place. And to implement the delimitation you need census, because it has been said by Article 82 of the Indian Constitution, and because of that thing the government is started to do the census, and the first phase of the census is going to happen in April 2026. In the first phase of the census, what they will do, they will see whether a household have a scooter or not, whether they have pakka house or not, okay, whether they have a toilet or not. So physical identifications will be there. In the second phase, one-to-one interaction, house visits will be there. But one interesting is that in the house visits, you do not require any kind of Aadhaar or PAN proof. You do not require any kind of physical ID proof. ठीक है? To include it into the census, मतलब to include it into the census, you do not require any kind of physical ID. You do not require any kind of PAN. You do not require any kind of Aadhaar. You can say the things to the officers regarding your condition, and you can give your data, and those data will not be published at any means. मतलब RTI करके भी कोई भी उस डाटा को एक्सेस नहीं कर सकता है, be it police, be it court. 100% privacy is guaranteed. ठीक है? उसके बाद देखिए the census will be conducted by the Registrar General of India under Ministry of Home Affairs. इसमें क्वेश्चन आ सकता है एक्चुअली प्रीलिम्स में, ये it will not be done by the Ministry of Statistics. ठीक है, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टैटिस्टिक्स के द्वारा इसको नहीं किया जाएगा, रजिस्ट्रार जनरल ऑफ इंडिया के द्वारा इसको किया जाएगा अंडर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स. ओके, देन द एनपीआर वाला इशू जो था ना, नेशनल पॉपुलेशन रजिस्टर, इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी कंडक्टेड अलोंग विद द सेंसस. ओके, तो बॉटम लाइन इज दैट द सेंसस इज गोइंग टू हैपन and first phase is going to be in 2026 April. This topic is important for your prelims. This information which I have given, it is important for your upcoming prelims, 2026 wala prelims as well as 2027 wala prelims. Okay, but overall the delimitation commission wala thing, the angle of the southern states, the number of seats, the reservation, Nari Shakti Vandana Adhiniyam, all the articles, article 81, 82, and also the history of the delimitation, these are important for your prelims as well as specifically for your mains. Okay, let's move into the next topic. This is an interesting topic actually. I need to give you a storyline regarding this thing. Actually, Section 377 of IPC, Indian Penal Code, which has been abolished actually, and it has been replaced by Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, BNS. Now in Supreme Court, in Navtej Singh Johar case, Supreme Court has decriminalized homosexuality. Actually, before that, Section 377 of the IPC criminalize same sex. It is considered as unnatural. मतलब कोई भी homosexual activity अगर करता है, that person is punishable under the law, under Section 377. इसको नवतेज सिंह जौहर केस में Supreme Court has said it is unconstitutional. That's why it has decriminalized the same sex. ठीक है? Homosexuality has been decriminalized by the Navtej Singh Johar case in Supreme Court. ठीक है. Now because of that thing, when the IPC was replaced by Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, BNS, and BNS has followed the guideline of Supreme Court. Supreme Court has said that section 377 is what? Unconstitutional in nature. That's why BNS has deleted 377. Now it was actually criminalizing the homosexuality. Article 377 has been deleted. Now same sex is not criminalized. ठीक है, same sex is allowed. But इसमें issue ये आ जाता है कि when the rape is committed against a male person by a male person, when the rape is committed against the LGBTQ community person, then there is no legal protection, because before that Article 377 covers everything. It was an umbrella term. Whether it is a forceful or it is a consensual sex, you will be punished. If the same sex is there, whether it is a consensual or it is forced, you will be punished. But now when the 377 has been removed, both the legal protection against the rape victims are also abolished. Now the Supreme Court is saying that there should be some kind of legal protection for the adult male and LGBTQ community who have faced sexual assault from the male person. ठीक है, क्योंकि generally when we say rape, it is generally abusement of male person to a female, but the other way may also may happen. कि मतलब a male has been sexually assaulted by a male, it will be a same sex, but since 377 is not there, it is not legally punishable. That's why Supreme Court is saying that you need to add something. You need to add some clause in the BNS so that जो sexual abuse against male person by a male person should be a punishable offense. ठीक है, वही इस आर्टिकल में बोला गया है. It is a very actually क्या बोलेंगे इसको कि it's a mistake actually. It's a mistake. It's a mistake and it is a loophole. क्योंकि 377 को पूरा ही हटा दिया गया, तो अभी कोई भी मतलब लीगल सिक्योरिटी है नहीं. ठीक है, दैट्स द टॉपिक एक्चुअली. लेट्स मूव अहेड. ट्रैफिकिंग क्राइसिस. देखिए, हम लोग फंडामेंटल राइट जब पढ़ते हैं तब आर्टिकल 23 भी पढ़ते हैं, प्रोहिबिशन ऑफ ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग, फोर्स लेबर, है कि नहीं? बट स्टिल दिस इज अ फंडामेंटल राइट, बट स्टिल दिस इज बीन वायलेटेड. देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ NCRB रिपोर्ट्स आर देयर, आई एम गोइंग टू गिव यू. But according to the US report, US Trafficking in Person report, India classifies as Tier 2 country. Tier 2 country regarding human trafficking prevention is that country who is trying to prevent the human trafficking but yet to accomplish the target. We are trying but we are not able to achieve that target. That kind of country is known as Tier 2 country according to the US Trafficking in Person report. ठीक है, अभी NCRB रिपोर्ट देखते हैं कि NCRB रिपोर्ट के हिसाब से द विक्टिम्स ऑफ द ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग आर मोस्टली वुमेन एंड चिल्ड्रन. 70% ऑफ देम आर वुमेन एंड चिल्ड्रन. दे आर जनरली फोर्स्ड फॉर बेगर्स, फोर्स्ड लेबर, दे आर फोर्स्ड टू डू प्रोस्टिट्यूशन एंड ऑल्सो दे आर फोर्स्ड टू डू द डोमेस्टिक हेल्प. ओके, एक्चुअली इज रेज द क्वेश्चंस अगेंस्ट द इंस्टीट्यूशंस व्हिच आर देयर टू प्रिवेंट ट्रैफिकिंग. According to NCRB also, कि out of the 100 traffickers, less than 16 are got convicted or get the jail term because of the extensive delay in the judicial process as well as legal loopholes. This has been given by the NCRB. You can use these datas. These datas are not going to be asked in the prelims. These are important for your mains. You need to write these datas in your mains. These are very important. अभी देखिए, इसमें ये क्वेश्चन ये आ जाता है कि जो एंटी ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग यूनिट्स है, एंटी ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग यूनिट्स आर प्रेजेंट इन ईच डिस्ट्रिक्ट बट इन पेपर दे आर नॉट फंक्शनिंग. इट मीन्स दैट all the anti-human trafficking units, yeah, all the activities, all the policies, all the programs, all the steps that has been taken to stop human trafficking has been failed. Because we are not preventing, we are yet to able, we are not able to prevent the human trafficking. We are still a Tier 2 country under the US report, and also the conviction rate is very low. that is not a very good scenario regarding human rights, because this is not only a violation of fundamental rights, but it is also a violation of human rights. So you need to use this kind of data in your mains when there is a question regarding human trafficking, human rights violation, when there is a question explicitly on Article 23. You need to write these points. You need to quote NCRB, you need to quote US Trafficking in Person report. Okay? Is it clear? Okay. Then let's move ahead to the next topic. Right to die with dignity. मैंने आप लोगों को पहले भी बताया है in the classes when I have taught you fundamental rights कि Article 21 guaranteed right to life with dignity, at the same time it guaranteed right to die with dignity. जो अभी recently हरीश राणा वाला जो केस हुआ था actually, when the Supreme Court has allowed the passive euthanasia for the first time in India, it has been executed, and because of that thing these topics are in news. अभी एक दूसरा केस, the Common Cause versus Union of India, where the Supreme Court has allowed living wills, that is in news. That's why this topic is there. Ki what is living will? What is the importance of living will? Okay, how it plays a crucial role in executing passive euthanasia. In living, what do you mean by living will? देखिए living will मतलब क्या है कि a patient, a person is actually giving its instructions to the doctors, to the family members कि if that person goes into the vegetative mode, then what needs to be done. ठीक है, लिविंग विल में ये बताया जाता है कि देखिए अगर मैं वेजिटेटिव मोड में चला जाऊं जहां से मेरा रिकवरी कोई है नहीं, तब डॉक्टर को क्या करना है, पेशेंट को, फैमिली मेंबर्स को क्या करना है. तो इट बिकम ए इजी थिंग फॉर द मेडिकल प्रैक्टिशनर्स एज वेल एज द फैमिली टू टेक डिसीजंस. क्योंकि देखिए इफ ए पर्सन इज डाइंग एंड देयर इज नो होप फॉर रिकवरी एंड दैट पर्सन इज ओनली लिविंग ऑन द सपोर्ट ऑफ सम artificial tubes or some ventilation, then because of the legal issues, because the doctors do not want to involve themselves into some kind of legal hurdles, they keep pushing the defensive medicines, they keep pushing the things, they keep giving the medicines. And family members also face the dilemma ki how I can pull the plug of my loved one, otherwise I will feel guilty. But when there is a living will, it will be clear ki what was the choice made by that person who is dying in front of you, and that by living will you can choose your death to be a dignified death. क्योंकि देखिए for birth we prepare everything when a human is born, but we do not know when we are going to die. Living will give you a scope to prepare your death, कि your death should be dignified. Because if you have money, for example, if you have money also, because who do not have money, most of them are indignified death they has to face. But suppose you have money, you are end up dying in a hospital where machines beeping around you, where artificial tubes will be inserted in you, where ventilation pipes will be inserted in you, and it is not considered as a dignified die. According to human dignity, according to human rights, according to emotional context, you should be dead around your loved ones. Your loved one should be able to communicate with you in your last moment. That is considered as a dignified death. So living will actually give you the scope to do that. Living will actually helps the medical practitioner to execute the passive euthanasia. कि लिविंग विल में आपने लिखा है कि हाँ आई वांट टू बी डाई इन अ डिग्निफाइड मैनर, व्हेन आई रीच टू द वेजिटेटिव मैनर, दैट्स जस्ट पुल द प्लग. तो द मेडिकल प्रैक्टिशनर, फॉर द मेडिकल प्रैक्टिशनर, दैट पर्सन विल नॉट सी एनी काइंड ऑफ लीगल इशू इन दैट, एंड दैट पर्सन कैन विथड्रॉ द लाइफ सपोर्ट फ्रॉम यू एंड यू कैन हैव योर डेथ. एंड ऑल्सो योर फैमिली मेंबर्स कैन टेक द डिसीजंस इजीली सो दैट दे विल नॉट फेस द एगोनी ऑफ गिल्टी. That is the importance of living will. Now, one thing I want to revise you is that what is the difference between the passive euthanasia and active euthanasia. In active euthanasia, a lethal drug is injected in the human body, and because of that, that person dies. In passive euthanasia, when the person is a vegetative mode and is only living on life supports, the life supports are withdrawn and the person died. This kind of death is known as what? Passive euthanasia. In India, only passive euthanasia is allowed, not active euthanasia. In some other European countries, active euthanasia is also permitted, but in India it is not considered as a it is considered as a crime. Only passive euthanasia is allowed. अभी देखिए यहाँ पे लिविंग विल के बारे में यहाँ पे ये दिया गया है कि what to do and what to do and what not to do. First thing is that it legally authorize the doctors withdraw futile life support. मैंने बोला ही है कि doctors will not think कि मैं क्या फंस जाऊंगा legal hurdles में, ठीक है, वो उनको नहीं सोचना पड़ेगा. It will be easy for the person to take the decision. The doctor will stop using the defensive medicines. Also, it will give relief to the families, the loved ones, so that they did not need to face the agony of guilty. What need not to be done? Ki the living will, execution of living will not be considered as a suicide or active euthanasia. Active euthanasia नहीं execute कर सकते हो. और अगर if you have a 1% signs of recovery, living will should not be executed. ठीक है, you should give your 100% effort to recover that person. ठीक है, it never halts routine medical care, hydration और vital pain relief. ठीक है, अभी देखिए यहाँ पे और एक चीज बोला गया है कि जो लिविंग विल है, द लिविंग विल शुड बी इंक्लूडेड इन द आभा आईडी ऑल्सो. डिजिटली इट शुड बी अवेलेबल. क्योंकि देखिए फॉर एग्जांपल एक कंसिडर कीजिए एक इंसान के बारे में जो जिसका घर आसाम में है लेकिन वो काम कर रहा है केरला में. बिकॉज ऑफ सम इंसिडेंट एक्सीडेंट टुक प्लेस एंड ही वेंट टू हॉस्पिटलाइज and he went to coma. He has a living will in his home, which is a physical copy, which is not digitally available. The doctors of Kerala will not know about the digital, the living will. The doctors cannot take the decisions. It will be very difficult for them to take the decisions because medical ethics will not allow him to go for the death. है ना? उसको allow ही नहीं किया जाएगा. The medical practitioner will face the dilemma. That's why the living will should be incalculated in the ABHA ID also. Digitally it should be available. ठीक है, वही बोला गया है इस आर्टिकल में. आगे बढ़ते हैं. The last topic of today's session is that 2030's healthcare challenge, stalling progress of the maternal safety. Maternal mortality rate के बारे में इस टॉपिक में दिया गया है. एक्चुअली पहले मैं आप लोग को एक टारगेट बता देता हूँ. Under SDG 3 we have, what is the SDG 3? Good health. Under SDG 3 3.1 में एक टारगेट दिया गया है कि maternal mortality rate should be below 70 by 2030. Maternal mortality rate is what? Death per 1 lakh live births. ठीक है, that is the maternal mortality rate. 1 लाख लाइव बर्थ में कितने महिलाओं ने अपना जान गंवाया, इसी को बोला जाता है maternal mortality rate. According to the government data, India's score is 88. So if the India score is 88, then we are approaching to the target of below 70. We are going to reach 70 by 2030. लेकिन according to the Lancet या Lancet जो बोलते हैं, ठीक है, according to the Lancet global report, our score is not 88, our score is 116. If our score is 116 means our maternal mortality rate is 116, then we are not going to achieve the target of less than 70 by 2030. ठीक है, यही टॉपिक है एक्चुअली, यही डिबेट है एक्चुअली कि ग्लोबली और अकॉर्डिंग टू द गवर्नमेंट डाटा हाउ इट इज डिफरेंस. मतलब 1-2 पॉइंट का डिफरेंस हो सकता है लेकिन यहाँ पे तो मतलब अराउंड 15-18 पॉइंट्स का डिफरेंस है ना, अराउंड 20 पॉइंट्स का 20-30 पॉइंट्स का डिफरेंस है. तो इट इज नॉट अ वेरी गुड साइन. अभी देखते हैं कि ये क्यों है, मतलब व्हाई एक्चुअली और मैटरनिटी रेट येट हाई इफ वी कंसीडर दिस 116 और स्टिल इफ वी कंसीडर 88 इट इज हाई. Why it is so? देखिए रीजनली द मैटरनल मोर्टेलिटी रेट इज डिवाइडेड. मतलब हर स्टेट में सेम नहीं है, मतलब द मैटरनल मोर्टेलिटी रेट इज नॉट सेम अक्रॉस इंडिया. इन द साउथर्न स्टेट्स इट इज रिलेटिवली लो एंड दे हैव अचीव्ड द टारगेट इन फ्यू years ago. But the northern and the eastern states, their maternal mortality rate is high, and because of that thing, the India's average maternal mortality rate is above 70. That is the issue actually. That need to be reduced. And देखिए maternal mortality rate घटाना, it's not a very big thing. It is not a very big thing. It is easily curable thing. It is easily curable. 50% of the maternal mortality rate, maternal mortality deaths can be reduced, can be prevented if we have trained doctors, you have trained nurses in the local hospitals. ठीक है, जो PHCs होते हैं, जो प्राइमरी हेल्थ सेंटर्स होते हैं, वहां पे ही उनको जान बचाया जा सकता है। क्योंकि देखिए ड्यूरिंग द बर्थ पीरियड, ड्यूरिंग द बर्थ, a woman just face the issue of blood loss as well as fluctuation of blood pressure. These two things can be handled easily by trained nurse in a primary healthcare center. You do not need any kind of urban hospitals. So what you need skilled workforce and motive to save a mother. That is the motive you need actually. Because it's not a very big issue, but it is yet to be implemented, it is yet to be resolved. Abhi government is running various programs to reduce the maternal mortality, to safeguard the mother. जैसे for example जननी सुरक्षा योजना, ठीक है, PMSMA जहाँ पे फ्री चेकअप्स दिया जाता है on the 9th, ठीक है, सुमन जहाँ पे किसी भी महिला को कोई भी गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल डिनाई नहीं कर सकता है टू गिव द सर्विस, ठीक है, किसी भी प्रेग्नेंट वुमेन को नो गवर्नमेंट मेडिकल हॉस्पिटल कैन डिनाई टू गिव द सर्विस, और कोई पैसा भी सर्च नहीं कर सकता है। ये कौन सा प्रोग्राम है? सुमन वाला प्रोग्राम है। तो दीज आर सम ऑफ द प्रोग्राम्स व्हिच इज बीन रनिंग बाय द गवर्नमेंट टू इम्प्रूव द मैटरनल मोर्टेलिटी रेट ऑफ इंडिया, ठीक है। तो दीज आर द इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स ऑफ दिस वीक। होप यू हैव एंजॉयड द सेशन। थैंक यू।